We welcome you to Seattle, Washington, where this afternoon the Houston Astros will kick off a three-game series from Safeco Field against their divisional rivals, Seattle Mariners. First of three against the M's, first of 10 on this road trip. Dallas Keuchel and the Astros getting ready to take on the Mariners on this Labor Day Monday. Glad you could be part of our Labor Day extended weekend. The Astros come in with the best record in the American League, but the red-hot Cleveland Indians, a winner today, just 2.5 games back for the best mark in the AL. Hi, everybody, and welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum as this long road trip kicks off tonight. Blummer, good to see the offense kind of get rolling in that last homestand, and now this is where they usually score a lot of runs.
Yeah, they were invigorated the first two games of that doubleheader. Then Carlos Correa getting in that lineup creates that depth, but these guys like to put up big numbers on the road.
When you talk about the Astros trying to wrap up the best record in the American League, on the other side, the Mariners are trying to get into the postseason, and they will face a trio of starters that are not going to be easy to manage.
Yeah, we've been kind of looking forward to this since that pickup of Justin Verlander, but Dallas Keuchel going this afternoon for the Houston Astros is going to be a great start to this rotation. This is also might be a little bit of a preview for the playoffs. We know that Dallas Keuchel is the ace of this staff, and we understand that Justin Verlander is a part of this also, but kind of a Glavine-esque feel for it. I know I refer back to the Atlanta Braves in the late 90s quite a bit because they were part of my nightmare because they were so good. It was Glavine, Smoltz, and that could be the guy that could be that Smoltz. That power right-handed pitcher has 4+ pitches that are coming out of that right arm. The wild card for me is Lance McCullers. If we get the Lance McCullers that we saw early in the season, that could be a wipeout 1-2-3 punch because he is that youngster that has great stuff, but he also has the wipeout material. It's just a matter of getting in the zone and creating some length to his starts.
So McCullers will get the final start on Wednesday, and then Justin Verlander making his Astros debut tomorrow. Tonight it will be Dallas Keuchel's turn. Not an easy trio at all for the Seattle Mariners to face. They will have a lefty in the middle of their three-man rotation in this series. We'll have more from Seattle as we get you ready for baseball on this Labor Day Monday, late afternoon or early evening back in Houston. by Toyota, let's go places. And by Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide, that's transparency. Mariners and Astros kicking off a 3-game series from Seattle. When we come back, Julie Morales will discuss George Springer lighting it up lately.
Three-game series. We hope you're enjoying your Labor Day weekend, a 3-day weekend for many of you. And for the Astros, they hope to continue what they were doing this weekend in a series against the Mets. Good vibes around this club. They're happy about what they did. It was good to get some of these guys going again. And of course, facing Seattle, a team they're familiar with. George Springer loves facing the Mariners with his 17 career homers against this club. And speaking of homers for George Springer, we saw a couple of them in that Mets series. This is really good to see George get going. Bringing the Lumber, presented by Yellowwood, is looking at Springer's weekend. It was the doubleheader on Saturday and, of course, Sunday's series finale. But 6 for 12, the 2 homers for him. That's 30 and 31, driving in 3 runs, 3 runs there. And one was at the Crawford boxes, but that one was a shot to the train tracks. He got all of that. You could feel it in your bones. You can see it from Cameron Maybin's face right there. What a shot. But like I said, good to see this guy going. After coming off the DL, he really struggled. He missed 13 games with that left quad injury. And then you see in the first 20 games back, only hitting 200, only hit 2 home runs in those 20 games. Last 3 games, he's tied that with 2 homers and 3 RBIs compared to the 5 RBIs. So this is a good sign for a hitter that this Astros lineup leans on to set the tone every day he goes out there. Guys?
You're right about that. Good to see George getting rolling. Hasn't had a leadoff home run in a while. Still at 9. Had most of those early in the season. He will be in that leadoff position today as we take a look at the Astros starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. Springer at the top, coming off that big series that Julia mentioned against the Mets, followed by Alex Bregman, who's now 2 months in to quite a run. It all started on July 4th. Jose Altuve, the league's best hitter at .357. Carlos Correa, good to see him return. Josh Reddick will play left field today and bat in the number 5 spot. Yuli Gurriel, after a little nagging injury, back in there. He's DHing. That means Marwin Gonzalez gets to play first base. Brian McCann behind the plate. And Cameron Maybin, the center fielder, will bat 9th.
Right-hander Erasmo Ramirez going for the Seattle Mariners. He is 3-1 against the Houston Astros with a 3.38 ERA. That's in 7 total games. He has 4 starts against the Houston Astros. The record on the season, 5-5. 80 punch outs. That whip right around one. The opponent batting average of 247, and he has given up 17 home runs. Interesting to have Erasmo Ramirez out there. He is the 16th different pitcher that the Seattle Mariners have run out there to make at least one start for these Seattle Mariners. So a bit of a patchwork rotation going here deep in the season.
That has been an issue for Scott Servais and the Mariners this year, is finding that consistency within the rotation. They have had a lot of injuries, and with that, they've had, as you mentioned, not just 1, 2, or 3 full turns through the rotation, but a total of 16 different pitchers, 3 different versions of a rotation, if you will, plus 1 extra guy at various points this year. A.J. Hinch and Jose Altuve wearing the Astros road orange with gray pants, kicking off this 10-game, 11-day road trip, a couple of days off in between, and a doubleheader in Oakland right in the middle of this trip. George Springer leads off, takes a strike from Ramirez. It's 0-1. George, in addition to that big series, has a 4-game hitting streak overall, 7 for 15 during that stretch. Has that batting average back up near 300 at 296. Ramirez back with the Mariners. He was originally with the Mariners, sent to Tampa Bay, and now making a 7th start of the season with Seattle. Ground ball towards third, a couple of hops for Kyle Seager. And we start this game by Springer grounding out to third base.
Ramirez is going to come at you with a fastball, 90 to 92 miles an hour. Back that up with a little bit of a cut fastball, changeup, and a slider.
Very warm, comfortable conditions here in Seattle, warmer than we're used to.
It was weird getting off the plane last night and actually feeling warm. Usually we do that here in Seattle, and it's a little bit of a chill in the air.
Little fly ball into foul territory, long run, and unable to make the play is Mitch Haniger right in front of the stands. Good effort by Mitch. It goes as a strike. Bregman since July 4th, and today being September 4th, so that's a 2-month run. 345 with 44 runs and a 999 OPS for the last 2 months. 1-1 the count to Bregman. Even with Correa back, Bregman back at the top of the lineup, just like he was at the beginning of the season. Ground ball, backhanded nicely by Seager. His sidearm throw is in time. Good play by the Mariners' third baseman, who has made the play on the first 2 batters in this game. Here is the defense for the M's today. In the outfield from left to right, it will be Taylor Motter. Guillermo Heredia is in center. Mitch Haniger is in right field. We've seen Seager make a couple plays. Gene Segura is the shortstop. Robinson Cano at second. Danny Valencia at first base. And Mike Zunino is the catcher. Zunino catching Erasmo Ramirez. 7th start for Erasmo as a Mariner. Here's Jose Altuve. Altuve takes one inside for a ball. Jose coming in as the league leader in a number of categories: batting average, stolen bases, on base percentage. And he just took the lead from Aaron Judge overall in OPS. 982 to 979 with George Springer third, but pretty far back of those 2 guys. Well, over 4 weeks left of the season, we're going to start talking about Altuve and the possibilities, as long as things go well in the last 4 weeks, that he could be an MVP.
For me, that possibility is strong to quite strong. I think he's got great numbers, and he showed the categories that he's leading. He's on base almost 42% of the time, but then he also adds the 20-plus home runs to it. And I think that he is a very good candidate. 95 runs scored. The RBI total's going up. He's my MVP. I'm going to go ahead and write that in pen.
I like it. Right now, I'd have to say he is the lead contender. 2-2 pitches up. It has not been a good second half for Aaron Judge. Carlos Correa may have had consideration if he stayed healthy, but missing 42 games did not help his candidacy. 3-2 to Altuve, and Ramirez is able to strike out Jose for the final out of the first inning. A 1-2-3 first. Mariners come to bat. For the first inning on this Labor Day Monday in Seattle, and here's how Scott Servais will line things up, as Gene Segura will be at the very top of the lineup for Seattle, followed by Mitch Haniger, Robbie Cano in the 3 spot. Boomstick Nelson Cruz hits cleanup, Kyle Seager the third baseman, Danny Valencia first, Mike Zunino, Guillermo Heredia, and Taylor Motter round out your M's lineup.
Your ace, Dallas Keuchel, going for the Houston Astros, making his 12th start against the Seattle Mariners. He is 6-5 with a 2.82. He has got 83 innings against the Seattle Mariners, 78 punch-outs. Here at Safeco Field, the record is 2-3 with a 3.34 ERA. Obviously quite comfortable pitching in the American League West and a high ground ball percentage, so be on your toes if you're playing behind Dallas Keuchel.
Segura leads off and takes a pitch outside for a ball, 1-0. Gene Segura coming in 7th in the American League in batting, hitting .306. Segura's had to battle through a couple of injuries this year, 2 different stints on the DL for Segura, who came over in the offseason from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Strained right hamstring put him on the DL in April, and then an ankle sprain put him on the DL in June. But overall, really good season. Signed an extension with the Mariners, and he'll be a fixture here at the top of their lineup for years to come. Keuchel ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. Dallas usually pitches well at home, but he's also pitched well here at Safeco Field. On the ground, up the middle, diving effort by Carlos Correa, unable to field it cleanly. And that'll go as a base hit for Segura.
Kind of feel like Carlos got a little bit in between on whether or not to dive or just stay upright and try and make this play. Shading up the middle. But as he lays out, you see it on our Mattress Firm Supermo, he lays out not fully extended, actually hits him right in the palm of the glove, and it shoots out.
Once he went into that dive, it would have been tough to record now on Segura anyhow. Here's Mitch Haniger takes a called strike. So ground ball, base hit on the infield for Segura. Henniger coming in at 262, coming off a 4-for-5 game with a home run and a couple of RBIs. Mariners start the day 1 game over 500 at 69 and 68. Still in the chase for the American League wild card. There's 25 games remaining on their schedule. The Astros have 26 remaining. As Henniger checks his swing, it's 1-1. Astros have led by double digits since Memorial Day. So Memorial Day through Labor Day, they have had a consistent lead in the AL West. And the Mariners, you can see, are trailing the Twins for that second wild card spot. Swing and a miss. Keuchel gets Henniger down to the count, 1-2. Foul tip caught by McCann. That'll go down as a strikeout for Dallas Keuchel. First strikeout of the game. And there's 1 out.
Are you at all shocked by Minnesota?
Yep.
Because what we've seen of Minnesota was not pretty. The Astros put a serious beating on what they had going on, but for them to be in that second wild card for me is pretty impressive. And I know that division, we both know that that division has been depleted for everybody except Cleveland and Minnesota.
Not only are they continuing to do their thing, they traded Jaime Garcia, who they acquired because they thought they were going to make a run, and they traded their closer. Brandon Kinsler. And yet here they are. Yeah, that's been to me the biggest surprise in the American League this year, as Cano fouls one at the plate. Cleveland, a lot of people anticipated would eventually be that division winner, and right now they are challenging the Astros for the best record in the AL. Boston and the Yankees have had a good little tussle going in the AL East.
12 straight for Cleveland. That's impressive. I don't care who you're playing. To win 12 straight in the big leagues is getting it done.
Cano checks his swing on a pitch down and in. It's 1-1. Oh, they're going to say he went around.
Yeah, they threw it down there to third base and it was called.
Home plate umpire is the crew chief, Jim Reynolds. They checked with Lance Barrett at third base, and he said he did, in fact, go around.
A good call by Lance. For the Astros, not so much the Mariners. Be a little upset if I was Robinson Cano, but thankfully I'm not. Although on paydays I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, Robbie's doing well for himself. Long time with the Yankees, and now a fixture in the Mariners lineup. He and Nelson Cruz in that 3-4 spot. Astros have had their share of trouble against Cano. This year it's been better than in the past. Keuchel against Cano swinging. Back-to-back strikeouts for Dallas Keuchel. 2 outs in the inning.
Keuchel did a good job. We'll take a look at the strike zone during that sequence against Robinson Cano.
You look at
it. We're trying. But what Dallas has done good for me against left-handed pitching, I mean left-handed hitters, is stay inside. The first 2 pitches on our MD Anderson strike zone on that inside corner, and you get that left-handed hitter thinking inside, then it opens up for that slider away, and he got the chase.
2 outs, runner on first base. That'll bring up Nelson Cruz. Called strike on the outside corner. Cruz with those 104 runs batted in, leading the American League. Made the All-Star team for the 5th time in his career earlier this summer. You know, Dallas has been around the block. He's already won a Cy Young. He's obviously pitched in some big games, but I wonder if his first start with Justin Verlander right behind him in the rotation just adds a little bit. Here's Carlos Correa trying to make a play in the hole, but that ball had some top spin and gets out to left field, where Josh Reddick Throws it back in. It's first and second with 2 outs.
I think Dallas likes being that #1 guy at the top of this rotation, but how about so many times we've seen Dallas in a situation where he needs to stop a losing streak, or he needs to pitch in that must-win type situation. And I feel like he goes out there with the mentality of it's a must-win situation, but at the same time, if he goes out there and pitches the way he can and gets the W, he's going to get backed up by a guy that's pretty good.
And the Astros can use it too. They could use a couple of lengthier starts after the past 3 games. Kyle Seager, the batter.
Yeah, you might want to go out there and ask the bullpen how they feel about seeing a guy like Keuchel and Verlander pitching in back-to-back games.
There's a ball into right field. Springer on the move, and it's going to fall in for a hit. 1 run will score. Cruise to third, and the Mariners lead 1-0 on the RBI single by Kyle Seager.
McCann sitting outside, just a pitch up. And I feel like if you're a left-handed hitter against Dallas Keuchel and you can see that baseball for a little bit longer and have it elevated at contact, that's going to benefit you, and Seager takes advantage of it.
First 2 were ground ball hits for the Mariners. That one gets out to the outfield and scores the first run. So 3 hits in the inning allowed by Dallas, and now he'll face Danny Valencia. Pitch misses outside for a ball, 1-0. Keuchel struggled in his last start, technically a home start, even though it was a game played at Tropicana Field against the Rangers. Dallas going 6 innings in that outing and allowing 6 runs. You know, he's always been kind of like the big brother, little brother with Lance McCullers Jr. Now he's kind of the middle brother of that trio that's making the starts in this rotation, with the veteran presence of a Justin Verlander here now. Outside, it's 2-1. Mariners have had some good at-bats against Keuchel in this first inning. Mariners coming off a series sweep against the Oakland A's. A couple of 1-run wins, and then yesterday a 10-2 victory. Chopper towards the middle. Correa gloves it, and he will shovel to Altuve for the final out. Well, Keuchel gets through the first, but a run scores on 3 hits. We head to the second. It's 1-0 Mariners.
That all fans can help raise much needed funds for Hurricane Harvey relief. Visit ucaring.com/ Astros Harvey to donate today, or visit astros.com for a link to their giving website.
Saw a lot of signs here at Safeco Field in between innings.
Well represented. There was also Julia tweeted out a picture of a Texans flag state flag that we saw earlier. People are aware, and we appreciate it.
Mariners will be taking donations here in the game Wednesday. Prior to that game were the relief efforts down in Houston, and we continue to keep everybody back home on our minds as we will embark on this 11-day trip through Seattle, San Francisco, Oakland, and Anaheim. Erasmo Ramirez in his second inning of work facing Carlos Correa. Correa in his first game back with the Astros, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk yesterday. Carlos missed 42 games from July 18th through September 3rd, and he could not have been happier to join the team once again last night.
We're pretty happy about it.
Changeup's been pretty good so far from Ramirez. He was able to strike out Altuve to end the first. And he's able to strike out Correa there. That was the fastball. 2 strikeouts in the first out here in the second inning.
Not too bad punching out Altuve and Carlos Correa back to back, staying down in the zone. If he's going to pitch around 90 to 92 miles an hour, he needs to stay in that lower portion of the zone, and he has so far.
Ramirez has been really good for them the last 4 starts, going 6 innings in each one of those, only allowing a total of 6 earned runs in that stretch. Works out to a 2.25 ERA. Here's Josh Reddick taking a strike. Reddick on a 4-game hitting streak, hitting an even .500 during that stretch. Sitting at .311, good for 4th in the American League. Josh has had his share of troubles against Erasmo Ramirez in his career. He is 2 for 17. Up and in, it's 2-1. With Yuli Gurriel back in the lineup, and he's on deck as the designated hitter, it's kind of the first time that AJ has had all his guys in play. Evan Gadd is still not here. Jake Marisnick, Carlos Beltran nursing minor injuries. Reddick sends one on the line to right. Haniger got a good break, and he's going to get there for the out. Nice play by the Mariners right fielder.
Good swing from Josh. He's thinking double out of the box, but Haniger did get a good jump, made a good play on it.
But this lineup now, and this is even without a Beltran or Jake Marisnick if he gets a chance to play, or an Evan Gaddis when he gets a chance to play, but this lineup right now is so thick. I mean, Marwin Gonzalez, the RBI leader, is down to number 7 in the lineup. Yuli bats in the 6th spot. He'd been batting a lot of cleanup during the Correa injury. Brian McCann 8, and then a guy like Cameron Maben is your number 9 hitter. Best offense in baseball. Hit a little snag in the month of August, scoring 4 runs a game, but now they are healthy, scoring 24 runs in the 3-game series against the Mets. We'll see how they fare out here in Seattle. Ramirez got behind Reddick before getting him the line out to right. Now he's 3-1 on Yuli Gurriel. Yuli missed the Mets series after tweaking his knee in that set against the Texas Rangers down in Florida. Yuli down the line and left. It's hooking and far enough for a home run, but one section too far to the left.
Just a little bit quick on that cut fastball.
Yuli tweaked his knee in that series against the Rangers, had to come out of the game. Not in the field today. He's DHing, so he is slowly getting back to 100%. That ball is driven into left center field, and Yuli, who already has 36 doubles on the year, thought about it for a second, but a nice play defensively by Herrera in center, cutting that ball off before it got to the wall.
Yeah, maybe if Yuli isn't trying to protect that injury, he might think about going 2 bases. Got himself a good pitch to hit, laces it into left center field. Herrera did a great job of cutting that off, but how about Yuli taking a couple days off? Only in the sense that he had to rest a little bit. That swing looks pretty good.
Exit velocity, consistently no one better on this team than Yuli Gurriel.
That is true.
Right back off the little rest against the Mets and hitting a laser into left center for his first AB. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin did not play in the game yesterday after playing in the doubleheader Saturday. Had a big doubleheader going 4 for 9, including a couple of doubles and 3 runs batted in.
If I can be pretty much, overly honest, I like the way this lineup looks, and I really like it with Yuli in the DH and Marwin at first base, just in the sense I feel they're better defensively with this setup.
Marwin sends one into left field where Taylor Motter puts it away for the final out of the inning. We're through an inning and a half, 1-0 Seattle. Communities impacted by Hurricane Harvey through donations to several nonprofit organizations. They've also waived voice and text charges to those impacted, and disaster recovery equipment has been deployed throughout the region. You can make a difference with a $10 donation to the Red Cross by texting Harvey to 90999 or visiting redcross.org. Bottom half of the second inning, Dallas Keuchel allowing 3 hits and a run in the first, facing Mike Zunino to lead off the bottom half of the second. Zunino, coming in at 239, has been much better in his last 19 games, hitting 351. Keuchel ahead 0-2. You brought up an interesting thought right before we headed to break in the top half of the second inning. For you, this could be your Game 1 playoff lineup. At least you like the look of things offensively and defensively with the 9 that are out there today.
No, I really do. And I know that there's been talk maybe of Cameron Maybin playing a little bit of left field. But as far as an infield setup for a guy like Dallas Keuchel, having Bregman, Correa, Altuve, and Marwin across that infield, that's pretty legit. You basically have 4 shortstops playing your infield, which is pretty amazing. I like the way that sets up, but if Cameron Maybin moves to left, I mean, Springer, these guys are going to be your outfield, Reddick, Springer, and Maybin. with Jake Marisnick, with your possible Cupid shuffle late in ball games.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and Jake is still nursing a little bit of a groin injury. That with Cameron Maybin in center, and AJ addressed this before the game, he's seen Cameron play a ton of center, and that's where he is naturally most comfortable. So even though he brought Maybin in off the bench the other day at Minute Maid Park and played him in left and kept George in center, he really likes Cameron's ability to go get the baseball patrolling the middle of that outfield.
Well, how do you not? I mean, we talked about that spider web that's out there now, and if you could go ahead and put Springer into that mix, I mean, it's an expansive outfield like Safeco Field, and even with some of the shifts they employ in the outfield, these guys can flat out go get it. But if you're looking for defensive alignment, infield and outfield, to cut down on runs and keep your pitchers in games a little bit longer, this is the defense for me. Nothing against Yuli,
right?
But I just feel that Marwin is a little more adept over there at first base as far as decision making and athleticism. But I love having Yuli's bat in the lineup. That is obvious.
2-0 the count to Guillermo Heredia. Nice options right now for A.J. Hinch when he fills out his lineup card. That's a foul ball, even though Bregman continued through the play. We mentioned guys nursing injuries with Beltran and Marisnick, and Evan Gattis beginning a rehab assignment down to the minor league, so he should be back soon. So as thick as his roster was prior to this, it's now even thicker than he's ever seen since maybe opening day. And even then, there was no Cameron Maybin back then. It was Nora Aoki for a while. It was Derek Fisher for a while. Obviously, Jake has been the extra guy all year long, and now it's Cameron Maybin.
Speed options that he has on the bench, veteran presence. You just saw Carlos Beltran sitting behind A.J. Hinch. But these are great problems to have if you're heading into the playoffs.
This one's going to stay fair. It's about a foot inside where that last ground ball was, and Alex Bregman makes the play for out number 2. I was just for fun going through the roster today, just trying to figure out who might be on the playoff roster, and there are going to be some guys who have made some big contributions to this team this year who may not make the postseason roster. And that's how you get 2 new guys like a Maybin and a Keuchel, or excuse me, Maybin and a Verlander, and McCullers coming back off the DL, and somebody has to go.
But that's how great the moves are, because they're upgrades. They are very good. They've all-star players in the past, but Verlander for me is obviously a top tier. It would have been nice to go out there and get a number 3, number 2. They went ahead and got a number 1 in Justin Verlander. So you have 1A out there today, and then tomorrow you got 1B in Justin Verlander. But there are some guys that will be disappointed. And again, there are a lot of complicated issues for guys looking at playoff matchups. Who's going to be better suited in that playoff matchup as far as your roster is concerned? And who knows? They may not. Maybe they take a pitcher or one less pitcher, and that opens up a spot for a position player.
Very possible. You don't quite need as many pitchers in that postseason. You have some more off days built in. As Taylor Motter takes a pitch up and in, it's 2-1.
Especially that first round. I mean, it's a best 3 out of 5, so you've got a quick series.
2-2-1 with an off day in between. And get guys some natural breaks in there. Motter fouls one back. It's 2-2. Like you said, it's good problems for A.J. Hinch to have. He did mention today before the game that Mike Fiers, who pitched yesterday and struggled again, will not be in the rotation. He is going to head of the bullpen for his next appearance with the Astros, coming sometime later on this road trip. Since he just pitched yesterday, it'll be a few days before we see Fiers. 2-2 pitch just misses. It's 3-2.
But with the addition of Verlander now, I really think the focus shifts, and Maybin also, but I think the focus really shifts for me into that bullpen. Who's going to be healthy? Where do you match these guys up? Still looking to see Will Harris get back into form.
Chopper, Dallas off the mound in a hurry, and that is unusual. Usually when Dallas gets to the baseball, it's game, set, match, because he's the best defensive fielding pitcher there is, but simply missed that one.
He is so quick. And it obviously didn't take the bounce that he was anticipating, or else he would have made the play. Kind of snuck under the glove.
You won't see Dallas miss that one very often.
No, not at all. And I wonder if he was trying to make that throw, that spin to throw too quick. maybe just a little bit late. Almost as if the ball was past him. That was weird. Yeah, but you don't see that too often.
They're going to charge the Gold Glover with an error. As Taylor Motter dives back in. The bullpen, to me, there's just the one area of concern because the bullpen gets thicker no matter who goes back there. And of the 6 guys that are still around in the rotation, because they're still determining what to do with those other 6. We mentioned Fiers will be part of the bullpen, but you have the 3 starting in this series. Keuchel, Verlander, McCullers. You have Morton, McHugh, Peacock. So really you only need 4 starters in the postseason. So 2 more of those guys will probably not be starting in the postseason. So then you have a really thick bullpen. And to me, the only area of concern, and we addressed this yesterday, is finding a left-hander who may be on that postseason roster that can consistently get lefties out, because that has been an issue from the start of the season all the way through Labor Day.
Well, we got 25 left,
yeah,
including today. So I mean, there's at least 25 games for a Tony Sipp to figure it out, a Liriano to figure it out, and I'm sure AJ Hinch is probably thinking this is an opportunity, especially in this series, to have a guy that can go out there and get a Robinson Cano or a Kyle Seager and maybe put him in what could be playoff situations to see if they can get that out.
Taylor Motter with a stolen base. He's now 12 of 13 in steals on the year, as he's in scoring position now with 2 away. Pretty quick release by Brian McCann, but you can see Motter had a good jump.
Yeah, we saw McCann right before he came off the DL working with AJ Hinch and coming out from behind home plate. And Brian's caught a lot of baseball. And he's kind of at that point in his career where he's got to try and create a quicker way to get rid of the baseball.
Bregman hung in there after an initial bobble and retires Gene Segura for the final out. So Keuchel gets through the second despite an error.
We head to the 3rd. Time for today's Chevy Stroh poll. Remember to follow us on Twitter at ATT Sportsnet SW. With Carlos Correa returning, where does Alex Bregman fit best in the batting order? We'll let you play skipper here for a second. 1 through 3, 4 through 6, 7 through 9. We've seen him do a nice job at the bottom of the order, but moved up to the 2-hole. Has continued to do a nice job up there. You guys sound like you like it. A lot of righties up at the top of the lineup when it's that way, though.
That's the issue.
Yep.
That's the only drawback.
They're good. Okay, I mean, that's my argument against having that many right-handed hitters. And obvious, so you think that matchups aren't going to play well, that they can go to the bullpen and bring in some power righties to try and work through that order? Do it. I dare you. Because I'm comfortable watching a Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Correa back to back to back to back, try and attack some of the best right-handed pitching in baseball.
when a Maben or a Marisnik will bat ninth, as is the case today with Maben, you will have 5 straight righties from the 9th spot all the way through 4. But to your point, yes, these are very talented hitters.
Yeah.
And if you're going to force a lefty up there, whether it's a Reddick, more than likely it could be a Marwin Gonzalez as a switch hitter. Then you're taking away Alex Bregman from the top part of the lineup where, I mean, honestly, as good as Altuve was in that 1 month, for the last 2 months in the bigger picture, it's been Bregman.
Yes. Yeah, he's earned the right definitely to be in there. But for me, just if I'm an opposing manager, nope, foul. And I look at that part of the lineup, I may ask somebody else to look at it and try and make that adjustment because these guys are phenomenal. Every one of them is a threat. And there's not a key weakness that you can go out there and attack.
It's kind of amazing that this team, the Astros, are 4 games under 500 against left-hand starters.
Yeah, that is amazing.
It really is. And tomorrow we'll see a left-hand starter, Ariel Miranda, get the start for Scott Service and the Mariners. But it's kind of unusual. The numbers aren't that skewed against lefties. Lefties have a little bit better numbers against the Astros, but it is kind of shocking, as good as this team is right-handed hitting, they are 17-21 against lefty starters. Erasmo Ramirez with another strikeout. He has 1 per inning.
And with Carlos Correa back, it forces some other guys further down in the order, like a Brian McCann, a Marwin Gonzalez. But you see, when Carlos Correa was on that out injured, you obviously got some guys that need to move up in the order, make the adjustment. AJ's trying to put guys in positions to succeed, but just not that easy to create depth when you lose a powerful force in that number 4 spot, because that 4 hole turns into a revolving order of who's hot, basically. And Yuli was a guy that carried the torch here in recent days. But Alex Bregman has swung himself up into that top third of the order, because guys that are going good, you want them in the top third of the order because they're going to get a majority of the ABs throughout the course of the game.
Cameron Maben bats with a 1-1 count. Ramirez has retired 7 of the first 8 batters he has faced. You know, the other part of that too, with Correa down the 42 games, is for 13 of those 42, almost a third of that time, no George Springer. And towards the back end of that DL stint, a guy like Evan Gattis was down. Brian McCann was down for part of that. So there were other names that ended up in that bottom third of the order. Today it's Marwin, McCann, Maben. That's not your typical 7, 8, 9 group.
Yeah, not at all.
Marwin leads the team in RBIs. McCann with all those consecutive 20 home run seasons. And then Cameron Maben takes a called strike on that 2-2 pitch. Ramirez has 4 strikeouts and back-to-back strikeouts here in the third.
He's done a good job first time through the order of staying down in the zone, and we've also seen the right-on-right changeup be effective. I think it's really confusing some of these hitters who don't normally punch out. The Altuves, the Correas, McCann and Maben have all punched out. 2 of them have been on the changeup.
Now facing George Springer and misses down and away. It's 1-0.
I think it's a little bit easier for AJ to explain to these guys in the 7, 8, 9 spots that it's not a put down. I'm not putting you in that bottom part of the order because you're not very good. I'm putting you in the bottom part because everybody is that good in front of you. You are a healthy addition in that 7, 8, 9 spot.
That was one thing he had to address this spring training, because he had guys who had never hit there before in those spots. And you had to say, hey, this is a stacked lineup 1 through 9, and it really doesn't matter. We've seen so much production from that bottom third of the order all season long. Ramirez behind in the count, 3-0.
Here we go, that second time through the order. See if the Astros make the adjustment on Ramirez.
George takes a strike. It's 3-1. We've seen shots at the dugout, whether it's Verlander or Maben. It seems like these guys have been with the team the whole year as quickly as they are acclimating.
It's a beautiful sight.
Big swing by George, no contact. Missed the change up. It's a 3-2 count.
There is a lot of confidence right now in Erasmo Ramirez to throw that changeup, and what it does is it sets your mind reeling right now. Is he going to come with the fastball 3-2, or is he going to try and pull the string with the changeup?
He has mixed his pitch as well. Tried to throw the fastball in on the hands. That little two-seamer running in on the right-hand hitter. George fouled it off.
First time through the order on the season against Ramirez. Hitters are hitting .211. The second time through, .303. So this is the opportunity.
There's the line drive into center field for a base hit. You saw those last three pitches on our MD Anderson strike zone were a little more elevated once Ramirez got down in the count, and George able to single to center. Just the second hit for the Astros, and Springer a two-out base runner.
Slider, but a good job of recognizing by George. It's pretty good trust in the hands. He's been swinging the bat well of late. He took a curveball, what felt like 900 feet up onto the tracks yesterday.
Yeah, swing looks like it's back. Took him a little while to get back there. Coming off the DL after missing 13 games. Bregman takes a fastball for a strike. Alex grounded out to third his first time up. The thing about Erasmo Ramirez with his time with the Tampa Bay Rays is he never really found a consistent role. They used him as a starter, and then they brought him in out of the bullpen. And then he kind of jostled back and forth for a while. More recently, he was used as a reliever this year. But now he's been given the ball every 5 days, and he's been really good his last 4 starts. Sometimes you look at a guy like Erasmo Ramirez and you don't see overpowering stuff, but all he does is figure out a way to get people out. Now facing the best offense in baseball, and he's limited them to 2 hits over the first 3 innings. He keeps checking Springer over at first. George is up to 5 steals after not getting his first until almost the All-Star break.
Erasmo Ramirez has given up 17 home runs this season, but in the last 4 starts that Todd's talking about, he's only given up 2, and they were in the last ball game against Baltimore.
Outside, it's 2-1. Ramirez was acquired in a trade for Steve Cishek. Saw him a number of times out of the Mariners bullpen, the submarining right-hander, but they needed help out of their rotation more than their bullpen. So Cishek was traded in the acquisition or reacquisition. Second time through with the Mariners for Ramirez. Native of Nicaragua. Pitch catches the corner, and the count evens up 2-2 on Bregman. George with that base hit up to a 5-game hitting streak. Bregman has himself a 4-game streak as we start today's play. Top of the order getting the job done against the New York Mets in that series. George getting tired of diving back to first. Said, I'm not going. Don't tell the Mariners that. 2-2 pitch is rope foul into the crowd.
Astro hitters are just quick enough. Some of those mistakes that Ramirez has left up out over the plate, he has done a good job of just taking a little bit of speed off it to get these bats from the Astros to be just a hair quick to yank them foul.
In 46 games since the All-Star break, the numbers are off the charts for Alex Bregman. He has almost as many runs scored in just about a little more than half of the games as it did pre-All-Star break. Ramirez able to strike out Bregman. That ends the top of the third. It's still 1-0.
Keuchel getting back to work here, making his 13th start against the Mariners. That's dating back to 2013. Historically, he's pitched very well against the Mariners, including a complete game. But we had to go back a few years, like pre-Keuchel beard a few years ago. May 25th, 2014, going the distance, giving up just the one unearned run there. Pretty impressive stuff to look back. It's fun to look back at the video to see what Keuchel looked like then. But when you look back at where he was in his career, guys, and he was starting to really get things going in 2014. At the end of that year, pitching really well, of course, setting himself up for a Cy Young award-winning year just the very next season.
Yeah, that was just the starter beard back then in 14. Now he's got the full Keuchel's corner beard that we see all the time. Gets a ground ball off the bat of Haniger to start this inning. Now Keuchel will face Robbie Cano.
I wonder what it would take to get Dallas to shave that thing off. you just drop your head on me and just.
Yeah, I can't even
imagine.
imagine.
I even asked that question.
I can't even imagine.
Be a boatload of cash, wouldn't it?
Julia, what do you think?
Well, when he started growing that out, you know, it was a bet with his friends. This is 2015, correct? So he had offers. There was a lot of money on the line. So shave that beard, and he refused back then. And then, of course, had the great year that he had in 2015. So we knew it wasn't coming off after that, but he's sticking with it. He's been offered a lot of money. I'm not going to say the number, but.
So 2015, a lot of money offered, no.
He said no.
Wins the Cy Young, so forget it now.
Right.
Yeah, because in the offseason, you got to have some place to hang it. So he hangs the Cy Young off the beard. When he introduces himself, he goes, "Yes, I am Dallas Keuchel, and this is my Cy Young."
Following the 2015 season, he actually had a big decision to make because he and his family were going on a big vacation to Hawaii, and he was trying to decide if he should shave it before they went on vacation. Why do I remember these things?
Because you're Julia.
And decided not to. So here we are.
There you go. It's famous beards amongst athletes in Houston. 1-0 count to Nelson Cruz. Misses. It's 2-0. Cruz with a single his first time up, hit a ground ball between Correa and Bregman. It'll be tougher to hit a ground ball between those two now because three are on the left side of the infield. Instead, he hits one in the air. Cameron Maven comes in. He's got a long run, and he will get there for the final out. Dallas a strong 1-2-3 inning in the third, and we head to the fourth in a 1-0 game.
By one. The Astros and Majestic have developed a Houston Strong t-shirt with net proceeds benefiting the American Red Cross and Houston relief efforts. These shirts are currently available at the team store, in the stadium, or available online at MLBshop.com.
George R. Brown Convention Center, hearing that there are less than 1,000 remaining from that initial total of 10,000. Some still over at NRG Stadium. We hope that everybody available to get back to their homes sooner than later can eventually get to their residence. I know a lot of people are still in a crisis situation, and our thoughts are definitely with them as Jose Altuve grounds the first pitch of the 4th inning to the third baseman Kyle Seager for out number 1. Here's Carlos Correa, struck out his first time up. Astros have just 2 hits, a couple of singles. Nobody has reached second base for the Astros today against Erasmo Ramirez. 3 1/3 innings so far, 5 strikeouts and a couple of singles. Correa to center field. Heredia is back there. And on 2 pitches, there's 2 outs in the 4th. Dallas Keuchel needed just 6 pitches to get through the bottom of the 3rd.
It's the last game of spring training. What are we doing?
I guess they don't want Ramirez to get ahead and get to that changeup. And that's been an effective pitch for him today. Here's Josh Reddick. Reddick hit the ball hard his first time, but lined out to Mitch Haniger in right. Pitch misses 1-0. Josh with a 3 RBI game yesterday. 2 for 3 with 3 runs batted in, including a sac fly. He's up to 72 runs batted in. Josh still has 4 weeks remaining in the season to eclipse his career high in runs batted in, which is 85. That happened in the 2012 season. In the left, Motter comes in, and he will make the play in a 5-pitch inning. We head to the bottom of the 4th. It's still 1-0. Here in Seattle, one of the best cities in America, as we head to the bottom half of the 4th inning over on the Puget Sound. Some people getting back from work as we have a late afternoon. Actually, not many people work today. It's Labor Day. It's Monday, but it is Labor Day as we welcome you back to Safeco Field in Seattle, where the Mariners lead 1-0. Kyle Seager, Danny Valencia, and Mike Zunino to lead things off against Dallas Keuchel. Keuchel's allowed that 1 run and came on 3 hits in the 1st inning. He has not allowed a hit since. Seager had the last of those 3 hits, an RBI single into right. There's a called strike. It's 1-1. Seager driving in his 70th run of the year. Good for 3rd on the team. Nelson Cruz has 104. Robinson Cano has 84. 1-2.
Good pitch, slow slider.
Astros adjust their shift on Seager with 2 strikes. On the ground, Altuve from deep second makes the play for out number 1.
Dallas Keuchel. We're going to take a look at his pitch usage, brought to you by AT&T. First, second time, third time through the order in the fastball and the secondary pitches. And as far as usage early on, that first time through, he's going to be heavy on the fastball, trying to work ahead. But I really feel the second time he goes through these orders, that secondary pitch comes into effect. We saw him start a couple of hitters off with the off-speed pitches, sets up that fastball later in the count. But Dallas Keuchel is a guy, doesn't throw very hard, but has very good secondary pitches, so he can mix those early in the count, late in the count. But you see, as the game moves on, he has to be a little more creative to keep these hitters off balance and get those outs.
Facing Danny Valencia with the bases cleared and 1 out. Dallas would have a streak of retiring 9 straight, except for an error committed by the Gold Glover himself. Committed an error with 2 outs in the second inning on a soft ground ball just to the third base side of the mound. Valencia, a hard ground ball, but Correa smoothly to his left. Carlos makes the play for out number 2. Dallas had 3 really good starts before that last one at Tropicana Field. Kind of elevated those numbers. But prior to that, he had gone 6 2/3 innings, 7 7, and allowed a total of 3 earned runs, 1 per start. In those 3 against Texas on the road, Oakland and Washington at home. Ground ball against the shift on the right side, wide open for the base hit for Mike Zunino. So that's the first hit since Kyle Seager back in the first.
It's only a hit in the sense that he made it to first base. It really wasn't hit all that hard. Dallas Keuchel continues to get ground balls, and he also continues to get soft contact. Not sure if Zunino was even trying to go that way. He kind of hit off the end of the bat.
3 of the 4 hits today by the Mariners are ground ball base hits. Segura had an infield hit his first time up. Cruz hit one in between short and third that got its way, found its way into left field. The only line drive, if you will, or ball to the outfield for a hit was the RBI by Seager. Here's Guillermo Heredia. Takes a pitch for a ball, 1-0. Saw those ground ball outs earlier. Heredia hitting one of those ground outs his first time up. There's another one toward third on one hop. Bregman has it. Dallas with 3 ground ball outs in the inning. And we head to the 5th in a 1-0 game.
Astros. The Astros Foundation will commit their share of the proceeds of every Share to Care raffle for the remainder of the season to the American Red Cross and their Houston relief efforts for hurricane victims. And you can also go to youcaring.com/AstrosHarvey and contribute. Help out those in need.
Our broadcast team, by the way, ended up with a $2,800 donation courtesy of our K's for Recovery campaign over the weekend against the New York Mets as Yuli Gurriel fouls one back. Had 15 strikeouts in game one. Looked like the donation would be even bigger, but it ended up with 28 for the weekend. We contributed a total of $2,800 to youcaring.com. Astros Harvey. Yuli Gurriel takes a pitch outside for a ball. It's 1-1. Yuli has singled to left his first time up. We had talked about doing something together, and glad it finally came to fruition and we were able to get things rolling as Yuli hits one deep to left field. Speaking of rolling, that ball's gone. Home run. Yuli Gurriel. Home run number 16 of the season. Welcome back to the lineup, Yuli. It's tied at 1.
Wow. That was a bomb.
Yuli doesn't hit them that far that often. That was well struck.
Well, his first base hit into left center field in this ball game was 105.8 miles an hour off the bat. He backs it up with 100.9 with a much better launch angle and an estimation of 400 feet on the homer.
Where's the Pina?
I don't know. You got to release the Pina.
Oh,
hello, Pina.
Ground ball right side, glove there by Valencia, and he flips to Ramirez covering for the out. Sorry, what was that number? You said you already had the distance?
400 feet.
That seems longer than that.
You calling me a liar?
I'm just saying it seemed longer than that.
Slider, you know what? That slider, he saw that pitch in his first AB and yanked it foul. This one he stays on and launches it just under that Edgar's sign.
Quite a poke by Yuli Gurriel to tie this game at 1. Here's Brian McCann. McCann fouls one away. McCann struck out swinging his first time up. Astros now with 3 hits. Yuli with home run number 16 and RBI number 63. McCann has done a better job since coming back from the DL. He's hitting .353 in 5 games back. Brian was playing with that sore right knee for a number of games prior to going on the DL. It was a nice respite for him, not only to get that knee healthy, but also for a catcher coming off a really warm series against the Rangers in Arlington. Never a bad thing to get a little extra breather going into September. And a called strike on the corner. It's 2-2.
To your trained professional eye, what are you estimating Yuli's home run at?
I'm probably wrong. I'm just.
I know.
That ball's hit well to right field. All the way back goes Haniger. He's at the wall looking up. Gone! Second home run of the inning. Brian McCann gives the Astros a 2-1 lead on his 14th home run of the season.
It's been a while since I've been able to do this. McCann ball!
It's been a while, you're right. He was sitting on 13 for a long time, but that was a good feeling off the bat of Brian McCann to launch that one to right.
It's always good to help out your battery mate. Adding a run to it with that big bomb from Brian McCann.
What do you say to Yuli? You can't have all the fun this inning?
Yeah, exactly.
That is no hair and hair care getting it done this inning.
The tale of two skulls.
July 24th, by the way. Oh, you were going there.
No, you got it. That's, hey, it's a race and you won.
July 24th. Since you said
McCann ball.
It's a 2-1 game.
Felt good.
But part of that time was on the DL, but a lot of that time he just was not hitting the long ball.
Well, I tell you what, if you're fighting a leg injury. That affects, I mean, he's catching too on top of it. So obviously the fatigue is setting in, but you need your legs to hit. And he probably wasn't able to drive the baseball, and now he's hopefully healthy. And that was a good swing from Brian McCann.
61 ABs in between home runs, and McCann getting his 14th. 3-0 pitch to Maben misses, and Cameron Maben, who told Julia last night on the postgame show that he's out to catch Altuve in the stolen base department, is on first base with 1 out.
Oh man, that is hang it and bang it. That is a changeup up in the zone. And it's nice when you get those hands in a position, your mind recognizes, sends the right signals to the hands, and you just unleash on it. That was beautifully done. And again, it's warm up here in the Great Northwest, maybe helping that ball travel a little bit, but that ball was smoked.
McCann's got to make a big push to get to a 20 home run season now with 14. He has 9 in a row, and 10 out of the 11 seasons he has played of 20 home runs or more. This guy already got to 20, and he's already eclipsed 30. George Springer, that is, up to 31. McCann sitting at 14 now.
McCann's homer went farther than Yuli's.
No, it didn't.
I'm kidding. Got him.
Got him. Then I was going to say, I mean, that's up by Edgar's on top of that restaurant there. That's a good poke.
I mean, that's relatively close to getting into that second bat.
Mm-hmm. Good catch by a fan up there on the Yuli home run. Pitch to Springer is down, and George checked his swing. Well, you mentioned second time around. See if the Astros could solve Erasmo Ramirez. They do have 3 hits and a walk second time through the lineup. 3 for 8, much better than their 1 for 9 first time through the lineup. Maben leaning, stays, and the pitch is a strike to George. It's 1-1. Little different scenario too for George now, because when Jake was the number 9 hitter, Jake would run occasionally, but certainly not to the level that a Cameron Maben will.
What that does for a hitter when you're hitting behind a guy who can steal some bags like a Cameron Maben, it ups your chances of getting that fastball. Usually catchers would like to call fastball because it's an easier pitch to catch and throw, and it gets to home plate quicker.
George pops this one up. Foul territory. Valencia puts it away for the second out. Springer now 1 for 3. Beautiful late afternoon here in Seattle. 3:40 local start time, 5:40 back where you're viewing this game. 84 degrees at first pitch. Alex Bregman has grounded out and struck out. Saw Gerard Dyson on that list of players who are tied for 3rd behind Altuve's 31 and Maben's 30 stolen bases. Dyson's been dealing with a little groin injury and not starting today. Could be back in the lineup tomorrow for the Mariners. As Bregman fouls one away, it's 0-1. And if he does start tomorrow, he will face that guy, Justin Verlander. Making his first Astros start tomorrow night. Astros After Dark is going to be on point tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, it is. Cannot wait.
Bregman pops one up as well, so Springer and Bregman both pop up. This one's in fair territory, and Seager makes the play. A little unusual the way that ended up.
Some Willie Mays Hayes, but some real driven going on by Yuli Gurriel, going deep to left. And he was backed up by Brian McCann. Going deep on the McCann ball. 2-1 Astros.
to work, and we've seen Seattle fans with Houston signs. We've seen Houston fans with Houston signs showing their support for everyone affected by Hurricane Harvey. But this group is pretty impressive. 9 women from Houston with their Houston Strong signs. These are well done, ladies. Denise is with me, though. Denise, what are you guys doing here?
We're here for my bachelorette weekend.
Well, you picked a great weekend, the Astros being in town because you're from Houston, correct?
Correct.
And did you have any trouble getting here? I know flights were probably just tough to work your way through.
Yeah, actually, we were supposed to be here Friday, but our flights got canceled, and we were really determined to get here, and Saturday we were able to make it out. So we were really fortunate and lucky.
I know you said everyone here is good after what happened back at home, but still devastating. Do you have a message for all those that are back at home watching, looking at baseball maybe for a chance to get away?
Yes, we just want to say we all love you guys. We're here not only to support the Astros, but we're here to support our city nationwide and let everyone know that we'll overcome this.
It's been great watching the community help each other as well, but I gotta get to the fun stuff. What else are you gonna do in Seattle, or what have you done so far this weekend?
We definitely went to Pike Place. We've been doing a food tour, and I mean, we're just exploring the beautiful city.
Awesome. When did you guys put the signs together?
I did it Friday night.
Let's go one. 9 of you. That is a strong group with your Houston Strong signs. Thank you, ladies, and enjoy.
Thank you so much, Julia.
Safe travels on the way back, guys.
Good time, good signs. Houston Strong, they are representing. We saw them, and Julia's got the heart.
Of course she does.
Nice
She
touch.
fits right in.
Yeah, she could be part of that bachelorette party.
No, that's so great to see. So great.
Good job, ladies, getting here one day later, but not deterred. Jean Segura bats after a ground out off the bat of Taylor Motter. Keuchel misses down and away. It's 2-1. Eight of the last 9 outs recorded by Keuchel have been ground outs. Alex Bregman has been busy with assists on 4 of those 8. This one was headed towards Bregman, except for it went off Segura's foot. It's 2-2. Dallas working with a lead for the first time today. Mariners scored a run on Keuchel in the first inning. Erasmo Ramirez had shut out the Astros through the first 4. And then solo home runs in the 5th by Yuli Gurriel and Brian McCann, giving Keuchel his first lead. Hard hit, but at Altuve. And that's now 9 of the last 10 outs recorded on the ground as Altuve makes the play for out number 2. The Houston Astros have set up a website so that all fans can help raise much needed funds for Hurricane Harvey relief. Visit youcaring.com/AstrosHarvey to donate today, or visit Astros.com for a link to that same site. youcaring.com/AstrosHarvey. Bases cleared with 2 outs. Keuchel will face Mitch Haniger. Haniger takes a strike. He is struck out and grounded out. Dallas has 3 strikeouts that came in the first inning and a third. The rest have been on the ground with the exception of a fly out off the bat of Nelson Cruz. Dallas ahead 0-2. Since the DK is starting to get in the rhythm.
He does look comfortable. He's one of those guys, when he is feeling comfortable, he's getting those ground balls behind him and guys are making plays, he can really settle in. Just grabs that baseball, gets on the rubber, looks in at Brian McCann and says yes.
The reality is he could have a one-hitter going right now. 3 of the 4 hits have been ground balls that have found their way for base hits.
I agree.
Seager well struck, line drive in front of Springer. That's a legit hit. The rest have been on the ground. Pitch misses away. It's 1-2. When Keuchel's going well, he is getting the opposition to put the ball on the ground. Nobody does it better than him. With that ground ball percentage of 66.1 coming in. And he pulls the string and gets Haniger with the changeup to end the inning. Dallas's first strikeout since the first out of the second. 4 in the game and a 1-2-3 fifth. On AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Sixth inning baseball. A couple of solo home runs for the Astros. As we head to the middle part of the Astros lineup, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, and Josh Reddick facing Erasmo Ramirez. And Ramirez misses inside for a ball. Altuve coming in with a road batting average of .413, looking for his first hit tonight. He has struck out and grounded out. Altuve with 183 hits on the season. Down and away, it's 2-0. Ramirez allowing 2 home runs in a stretch of 3 batters last inning. 2 of the 4 hits he's allowed through 5. Altuve into center field. Back goes Heredia. He gets there in front of the track. Makes the play for out number 1 in the 6th. The Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight falls on what many consider the turning point of the season. April 11th at Safeco Field. Astros down by 5 against Giovanni Gallardo and the Mariners. And they came from behind to win 7-5, scoring 7 unanswered runs. All occurring after Julian Morales tried the new item here in the concourse level, the grasshopper. We had a grasshopper chopper in the middle of that rally.
So many good things happen with grasshoppers.
That was the only time the Astros threatened to have a record below 500 this year. Correa towards short. Segura throws him out. Carlos now 0 for 3 in the game. So Ramirez has done a nice job against Bregman, Altuve, and Correa. They are 0 for 9 against them in this game. But before the grasshopper, the offense was really struggling.
Yeah, they were trying to find their way.
What is this graphic?
It's Insect Killers. That's the title.
Do you think that my name will be in the record books because of it?
No.
P.S. Julia.
Our record books and in our hearts, yes. Etched forever.
I can't believe I tried those things.
You know, as long as we work together, which hopefully is a very long time, we will never forget that night.
No.
Ever.
But I don't know if you'll actually be in the record book.
There might be a special page in the program for it.
Blummer was so adamant that he was not going to try those either.
So
Todd was excited.
So do I get credit too for abstaining?
No. No, you don't.
The best part about that, the added bonus, was that the Mariner Moose brought her one for her birthday.
No, that was crazy.
Next day.
And that look on her face.
That was the last thing I wanted.
Like,
we could tell by the look on your face.
Puppies,
like, no.
puppies, babies, and mascots. Julia can't say no.
Nope.
Oh, but I did it. I tried it again.
On live TV.
Man, crunching through the thorax of a grasshopper.
It's not even a good word.
They're at least seasoned. Weren't they chili or
I don't know.
Yes,
Todd's the only one that powered through them.
Yeah, they had a little spice to them. A little kick. That helped.
Little kick. Pardon the pun with the actual leg in your mouth.
3-1 to Reddick, and he takes ball 4.
That was the worst part. You could see each of its body parts and before you ate him.
Yeah. The whole truck tried him.
Then they ran out. Didn't they run out and they had a shortage for a while?
Yeah, and then they limited.
Right.
Yeah. We created a firestorm, Julia, or more specifically
Put them on the map, yeah.
But the guys in the truck tried him, the ladies in the truck as well. And you obviously started the trend, and we all at least, I think that turned the season around. Just saying.
I mean, we were only, what, 7 games in?
4-4.
8 games, yeah.
Offense was struggling, in danger of falling below 500.
We needed a boost, and we were energized by the grasshopper.
Congrats, Julia.
Oh, I don't even know how to respond to that.
Just take credit, yeah. You just say, yes, you're welcome. You're welcome, fellas.
You're welcome. There you go. You're welcome.
Hey, good group. Meeting them out later. Bachelorette party.
They were great.
Yeah, fun group.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Good sign, too. Houston strong all the way across. Here's a guy who hit the ball 400 feet or more his first time up. Yuli Gurriel.
Let's go back and see if they've adjusted that at all to accommodate Todd.
I mean, there's
now
not
still sitting at 400.
There's not many no doubters off the bat of Yuli. That was a no doubter. He hits a lot of line drive home runs. The home run, the grand slam in Miami, a line drive that cleared the wall and left. But that was majestic as it left the ballpark.
It's still 100.9 off the bat. Might have been that launch angle that threw you off.
I like 109. What did you say his first one was? It was over
yeah,
100.
his base hit was actually hit harder at 105.8 miles an hour.
Wow, he is raking today. 1-1 count is in. Ramirez not happy facing Yuli, trying to be careful now with a 2-1 count. Erasmo walking Josh Reddick, his second walk of the game. Second time around as a Mariner for Ramirez. He was here from 2012 through 14. Yuli hits it hard, but the other way. Ball just jumping off Yuli's bat today. It's a 2-2 count. Saw the bullpen start to loosen up for the Mariners. Ramirez had been stretched out to 101 pitches in his last start, which is his highest total of the year, having been used more as a reliever this year than a starter. Current totals up to 95. And he gets through this inning, or at least he should. Haniger looking up into the sun on this fly ball to right and puts it away for the final out of the inning. We are through 5.5 with the Astros leading 2-1. Developed a Houston Strong t-shirt with the net proceeds benefiting the American Red Cross and the Houston relief efforts. Shirts are currently available at the team store in the stadium at Minute Maid Park or available online at MLBshop.com. Saw a lot of fans wearing that over the weekend against the Mets.
I'm going to wear mine to the gym tomorrow.
Brought yours along?
Yes, I did.
Houston Strong, go Astros. A lot of signs here in Seattle supporting the efforts back in Houston, and our thoughts continue to be with all of you guys back there that are going through some tough times, and so many great deeds as people continue to help out in the community and kind of are galvanized by this event. We're happy to see everybody trying to get back towards where their lives were before. There's a hard hit ground ball on one hop to Altuve, and Robinson Cano is retired for the third time. A strikeout and a couple of ground outs off the bat of Cano. And Dallas Keuchel picks up the first out of the sixth inning. Keuchel's allowed one hit since the first. That was a ground ball single by Mike Zunino against the shift. Here's Nelson Cruz. Cruz is singled and flied out. Dallas paints the corner 0-1. One and one the count. Keuchel 4 strikeouts, no walks. All 4 hits have been singles. He knows Cruz is one of those guys in the lineup that has had success against him. Nelson hitting .375, 9 for 24, coming in with 3 home runs in his career against Keuchel. Late swing there, it's 2-2.
For me, Dallas is that pitcher that will test your patience. He won't give in, just stay on that outside edge like you're seeing against Nelson Cruz, just continually to try and get you to give in and swing, and eventually your patience runs out and you say, I'm going to swing at the next pitch, it feels like.
He's living on that outside corner. That one's chopped towards the middle. Altuve on 2 hops. Jose has 4 assists the last 3 innings and 5 in the last 4 as he retires Cruz for the second out of this inning.
It's a hitter you say, I'm going to make him get on the plate. I'm going to make him get on the plate. 2 or 3 pitches on that outside corner. Finally, you get a little bit antsy and say, I got a hack. This doesn't feel right. And you know you're already looking out there as it is, and he continues to stay in that one spot, and eventually you swing and you don't square it up.
Here's the only guy that has a clean hit to the outfield against Dallas, not a ground ball base hit, and that's Kyle Seager. Seager with an RBI, dropping one in front of George Springer in the first inning. Hit a breaking ball out to right. As Dallas misses down and away, it's 1-0. A couple of lefties, Mark Zepchinski and James Pazos. Both of their lefties in the bullpen, warming at the same time. Seager drills one to center field. Maven looking up, and this ball is gone. Kyle Seager, with both runs batted in this game for Seattle, hits his 20th home run of the year, and we're tied at 2.
Dallas missed his spot. We saw the previous start. Dallas Keuchel was effective against some of the left-handed hitters by starting them off inside, and he's done a similar thing against Robinson Cano, but asking for that fastball away, Brian McCann was, and Dallas Keuchel knew as soon as he let it go, that was not the spot he wanted it to be, and Kyle made him pay.
Two outs, bases cleared. Here's Danny Valencia. Allison's coming back from the DL, allowing his 6th home run in his 8 starts coming back from the DL. Valencia the other way. Springer towards the line, puts it away for the final out. But a 2-out solo home run by Kyle Seager has tied this game as we head to the 7th. Mariners go to their bullpen. 6 innings of 2-run baseball for Erasmo Ramirez, and now they turn the ball over to the left-hander Mark Zepchinski.
55 appearances for Zepchinski. Easy for me to say. 3.10 ERA. That whip is actually relatively high in comparison to that ERA.
Zepchinski has been good against left-handers in his career.
And it's time to play, presented by Toyota. Focusing on Marwin Gonzalez. Had himself a pretty good doubleheader back there in Houston, getting back in the swing of things, coming up with some big hits for the Astros. 9 ABs, 4 hits, 3 resulting in RBIs, and he also scored 2 runs to go along with that. Some Astro hitters getting that offense going, and they'd like to do that right here. Pick up Dallas Keuchel here, only 2 runs in the game for the Houston Astros.
Marwin also picking up his 7th steal of the season as he stole 2nd and 3rd in that game. And he will lead off this inning as a right-hand hitter for the first time. Marwin grounded out and flied out against the starter Erasmo Ramirez. Now facing Zepchinski as a right-hand hitter. Marwin needed that 4 for 9 series. He was 1 for 23 coming into that doubleheader. Pitch misses away for a ball. It's 1-0. Another good outing for Erasmo Ramirez, his 5th consecutive quality start for the Mariners. In all 5 of them, he has gone 6 innings. He allowed 2 solo home runs to the Astros in that stretch, 4 hits overall. Marwin ahead of the count, 2-0. Marwin hits a line drive over Cano's head into center field. A bullet to center, and Marwin's a leadoff runner for the Astros in the 7th.
Good start. Marwin not trying to do too much, shooting that baseball right back up the middle. Nicely done. Continuing that hot hitting we were just talking about here on the road.
Marwin's first hit of the game, and that'll bring up the guy that gave the Astros their first lead, Brian McCann. McCann struggles against Zepchinski. Career Zepchinski against left-hand hitters has allowed a .219 batting average against. After McCann, though, there's 5 consecutive right-hand hitters. And with that in mind, the Mariners do have more bullpen action going. Called strike to McCann. It's 1-1. Ryan with his 14th home run of the season in his last at bat. Zepchinski ahead of the count, 1-2. In the dirt, Marwin's going to try and advance to second, head first slide, and he is in there. Marwin Gonzalez takes advantage of a ball in the dirt and gets into scoring position.
You've had a stolen base. That was a heck of a read. I'm with you in the sense that I think that Marwin was anticipating ball in the dirt, saw it down, and took off.
Marwin will take it. This is his 8th steal.
Well, back home at Minute Maid, the time he stole third base, it was a delay steal, and that was very similar to that delay.
That's a big inning changer, because now if McCann can just pull a ball, Marwin gets to third base with less than 2 outs. Easier said than done for McCann against this left-hander Mark Zepchinski. We've seen the Astros really run the bases with a little more aggression here the last 4 or 5 games. Ryan trying to get that ball on the ground to the right side.
Well, AJ mentioned, I believe it was after the post-game, or it was during the post-game press conference yesterday, speaking about how Alex Cora has taken on a little more responsibility as far as base running is concerned. But yeah, in the last couple of games, it has been a little more aggressive, a little more intellectual base running too.
Respect 90, just taking advantage of those 90 feet whenever they can. We saw a 2-base steal, 2 bases yesterday. We saw Marwin steal in that highlight package a couple of bags. Cameron Maybin has stolen a base. Correa part of a double steal yesterday.
Bregman for the last 2 months has been running around like crazy.
They changed the scoring on that play.
Go to the replay.
They took it away from Marwin. Even though he was on the move when that ball was in the dirt, I think you were spot on. He was anticipating ball in the dirt, and as soon as he saw it, he took off.
It was a great read. So what they scored?
Wild pitch.
Wild pitch.
McCann takes a pitch down low for ball 4. Zepchinski frustrated. He was ahead of the count on McCann and ended up losing him. Really good walk taken by McCann. First and second, nobody out. And the Mariners will go back to their bullpen as Scott Service is out of the dugout. Tell you about the new reliever for the Mariners when we come back.
We're here in the top of the 7th. New pitcher for the Seattle Mariners, Nick Vincent. That's who Cameron Maybin will face here, who's driven in a run in his first 2 starts as an Astro. We'll see if he can make it a 3rd. Maybin is loving his new team. He's still getting to know everyone. I've actually heard him have conversations as he's making his way off the field with other outfielders on, hey, do you know so-and-so? Just trying to get a feel for guys and find out where they've come from and what they like to do. But he's really enjoying himself right now. Says he fits in perfectly with this particular clubhouse, which what we're hearing about Maybin is that he fits in everywhere. He's just that kind of guy, and he's built the right way is what we've heard from AJ Hinch as far as he'll do anything for this team, anything that's needed here down the stretch and, of course, into the postseason, guys.
All right, Julia, he comes into an interesting spot here with Nick Vincent, a right-hander who's having a great season for the Mariners on the mound. First and second, nobody out. Maybin does not have a sacrifice bunt this season, and only 3 in the last 4 years. Mariners are anticipating bunt. He gets one down, but it's foul. 0-1. Nick Vincent in his 61st game of the year has not allowed a run at home all season long. 28 innings at Safeco Field and a 0 ERA. Marwin on second, McCann on first. Try and sneak in behind Marwin on second. The bunt's down. They're going to go to first, and for his first sacrifice bunt of the season in his 4th in 4 years, Maben got that down nicely, and now 2 in scoring position.
Team baseball, when you're able to go out and do this. And Julia talked about how Cameron Maben has the mentality that he's going to do anything he can to help this ball club. And that's a great example of it right there. Sacrificing your AB, moving those runners up.
Come on, Alex.
Base hit now, scores 2.
George Springer intentionally walked with the base open after the sac bunt. So they will load the bases to face the guy who's been as hot as anybody in baseball for the last 2 months, Alex Bregman. Bregman looking for his first hit tonight. He is grounded out, struck out, and popped up. Infield back in the middle, in on the corners. The middle hoping to turn a double play against Bregman. And he fouls one away. Vincent is very tough on right-hand hitters. Almost exclusively a cutter. Used to be a slider, more of a cutter now. And a fastball. Throws that cutter more than he does the fastball. Cut around 87, 88. Fastball at 90. Against right-handers, that'll be his 2 pitches. Line drive, base hit, Alex Bregman down the line. In comes Marwin. Around third comes McCann. George is being held at third. The Astros lead this game 4-2 as Bregman with a 2 RBI double.
It was beautifully done. If you know a guy is going to throw a cutter and work that outside corner, why not just go with it? Using the whole field, Alex Bregman, he has been swinging the bat so well of late that you just anticipate in these situations that he's going to come through with something special. Up, out, over the plate. Beautiful. I can't say enough good things about what Alex Bregman has brought to this ball club.
Now the second intentional walk in 3 batters after Springer was intentionally walked. Now Altuve's intentionally walked. Carlos Correa will bat with the bases loaded. Pick your poison.
And you're picking some lethal stuff too. But if you look at our league leaders, brought to you by Houston Methodist, you're going to see 2 guys who are absolutely destroying the baseball and making an impact in the big leagues on the same team, and they are under 23 years old. 23 years or younger. There's their rankings amongst those ball players, but how unique and exceptional for the Astros to have 2 of those guys.
How unique that you walk, and I know Altuve is the best hitter in the game, but how unique that you walk Altuve to get to Correa. I think Scott Service counting on a couple things. A, he's forcing at every base a force out by loading bases, and he's hoping that Carlos is maybe not back coming off the DL to that form we saw before the DL. Correa down in the count 0-2. Carlos has faced Nick Vincent 6 times. He is 3 for 6 with 3 singles. The times he has been retired have all been strikeouts. The infield still back here with the bases loaded and 1 out. Vincent able to get in there and strike him out again as Correa goes down on 3 pitches. Out number 2. That's a big strikeout for Vincent. But now he has to deal with Josh Reddick. Reddick is lined to right, fly to left, and walk. Strike to Reddick, 0-1. Vincent is 4th in the American League amongst relievers with that 1.87 ERA. In 28 2/3 innings here at Safeco Field, No earned runs. This is going to be a big test for him to keep that streak intact, because he had to come in and intentionally walk 2 of the 3 men that are on base. Intentionally walk Springer and Altuve. Bregman with the big double at second. And Reddick down in the count 1-2. Springer on third. He was intentionally walked. Bregman with the game-tying double. He's on second. And also Altuve was intentionally walked. Into left center field, slicing. Herrera on the move. That's a base hit. 2 runs will score. The throw to third, not in time. Reddick head first to second. Astros lead 6-2. First runs of the year given up by Nick Vincent at Safeco Field.
Houston travels. Great numbers at home for Josh Reddick, now getting it done, and that's part of the joy of having an Alex Bregman in that 2 spot. It moves Josh Reddick behind Carlos Correa. And even though they got the punch out of Carlos Correa, you're not out of the woods yet. You got to face a guy like Josh Reddick, who's going to put together some great ABs against you. And we've really seen him come up clutch here in recent months, especially with 2 outs.
Reddick with 2 more RBIs, up to 74 on the year, and 5 in his last 2 games. New pitcher coming in for the Mariners in this 6-2 game in the 7th. Back after this. Spot in the 7th inning, lead 6-2. Still batting with runners on second and third and 2 outs. Josh Reddick with a big 2-out, 2 RBI single, moved to second on the throw to third. Between Bregman and Reddick, those 2 guys have been coming up with some big base hits all year long, but especially lately, and they break open this 2-2 tie in the 7th. New pitcher for the Seattle Mariners is the right-hander Dan Altavilla.
Astros have seen Altavilla quite a bit. He throws close to 97 miles an hour, has a changeup at 89. Slider is at 88. Last time out, he pitched on the 27th, where he went 3 innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs, and had 4 punch-outs.
So the streak is over for Nick Vincent of not allowing a run at home all year long. It included a couple of intentional walks to help the Astros score those runs, but they will take it. And here's Yuli Gurriel. Yuli down to the count 0-2. 9th batter of the inning against the Mariners, facing the 3rd different reliever. Mark Zepchinski allowed 2 runs. 2 runs on the ledger of Nick Vincent, and now Dan Altavilla ahead of the count 0-2 on Yuli. Tried to hold up and does on that 100-mile-an-hour fastball off the plate.
How about that?
He knew he threw hard, didn't know he threw 100.
Wow.
The guy in the Astros bullpen that said, wow. Ken Giles thought he was the only guy in the building throwing 100.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Popped up on the infield. Playable. Cano, Segura. It's Cano who puts it away. But damage done.
Really has been. Started with Marwin Gonzalez leading off with that base hit. Alex Bregman with a couple of runners on, going the other way. And then the big 2-out lightning from Josh Reddick. He's got double deuce on the back and driving in some 2-out RBIs. Beautifully done by the Astros offense again in the 7th. Through donations to several nonprofit organizations. They've also waived voice and text charges to those impacted, and disaster recovery equipment has been deployed throughout the region. You can make a difference with a $10 donation to the Red Cross by texting Harvey to 90999 or by visiting redcross.org.
7th inning stretch time here at Safeco Field on a warm early September evening as Dallas Keuchel back out there. Had a long little break in between innings as watched his offense put up 4 runs, saw a couple of pitching changes, and now an extended 7th inning stretch on this Labor Day Monday here in Seattle, kicking off this 10-game road trip. Keuchel in really good shape with his pitch count as he is through 6 innings, allowing 5 hits, a couple of runs. Really the only guy who's hit him hard today has been Kyle Seager. Has not walked a batter and struck out 4.
So yeah, who would have thought it would be the left-handed hitter, Kyle Seager, going after him. Kyle's a very good hitter, but Keuchel has that much better numbers against left-handed hitters.
When you consider where the bullpen had been the last 3 games, and remember 3 games in a span of a little more than 24 hours, day-night doubleheader and a day game. So you had a bullpen being used for 4 1/3 innings yesterday and 4 innings in game 2 of the doubleheader and 3 2/3 in the first game of this series against the Mets. Not this series, first game of the weekend series against the Mets. You had the bullpen really extended for about 12 innings of work over the last 3 games. So an outing by Keuchel and then Justin Verlander coming up behind him in the rotation is exactly what A.J. Hinch was hoping for. See, Dallas is at 75 pitches right now, starting the bottom half of the 7th inning.
It's good to see him getting some run support too. Not that he hasn't throughout the course of the season, but the way he was pitching, you really wanted to see that offense break out and put up road type numbers that we've become accustomed to.
We saw Musgrove go 2 1/3 innings on Saturday. Davinsky go 2 innings in the nightcap yesterday, or actually in the final game yesterday. And we've seen Ken Giles used extensively recently, so good to see Keuchel back on form with a low pitch count through 6, and it's 2-1 on Zunino. Zunino fouls 1, it's 2-2. Dallas Keuchel and Justin Verlander averaging 6.5 and 6.6 runs, or excuse me, innings per start.
Those numbers down there, those are great. Workhorses.
Beautiful to have two of those guys in your rotation now. Because in the past, and Lance had done better before he was put on the DL this year, but in the past it was, if Keuchel doesn't go deep, your bullpen's going to be in trouble because they weren't getting the depth from some of the other starters. Now you've got these two guys back to back.
Depending on how late Keuchel goes in this game, he'll just walk off the mound and look at Justin and go, hey, your turn.
2-2 pitch, and he gets Zanino. Strikeout number 5 for Dallas. And the first out of the 7th. Well, we've all been waiting for it. Justin Verlander's Astros debut is a little more than 24 hours away.
Even though we know that he is on our ball club and we've seen him in that Astro hat, it's going to be pretty wild to see him in a full Astros uni taking the mound with Houston across his chest.
Ball through the middle, past Keuchel into center field. Heredia with a base hit with 1 out. Since Verlander's been acquired, he has watched his team score a total of 30 runs in 4 games, 24 against the Mets in 3 games, and 6 more today. So he probably knows the numbers on this offense and is very excited to pitch in front of them.
Well, I think we got a good idea of how, the decision making that went into this for him, because ultimately it was his choice to come over to the Houston Astros, and he had said, he goes, these guys are built to win. And he said it earlier too, talking to Julia, that this might be the best team that he has been a part of. We'll have to wait and see if they're able to have that come to fruition throughout the course of the playoffs. But as far as what this team has done throughout the course of 2017 and what we're seeing them pick back up here in September, looks like he made a pretty good choice.
Taylor Motter the batter, and the count is 1-0. And there was a lot of thought going into that decision, but he didn't have a lot of time. He was literally on the clock.
It's amazing to think about. I can't even imagine sitting at home and then you get a phone call saying, hey, we got a trade set up with Houston. We're hearing trade rumors from Chicago, but ultimately it's up to you, Justin. So it's, we did everything we could just to give you an idea of what you could possibly be moving into.
You think about where he's been, and for anybody who's been in a job in the same city for over 10 years, he knows everything about the Tigers organization. He knows everything about where they train. He knows everything about the city of Detroit. That's his life. And then within 45 minutes, he had to determine whether he needed his life to change.
It's amazing.
And he said yes, he wants to win a world championship and do so with the Houston Astros. He gave it a lot of thought, and right before the midnight hour, with Verlander's decision wasn't with 2 seconds to spare, but for the paperwork to get in with 2 seconds to spare, as close as the Astros could come to not beating the deadline. Keuchel walks the number 9 hitter. That's unusual to see Dallas with his first walk and be the number 9 hitter with 1 out in the 7th inning. So Motter draws a walk. He had reached on an error and grounded out. Dallas did have that extended rest in between, allowing a single with 1 out and now a walk. Top of the order, Gene Segura, the batter, takes a pitch for a ball. It's 1-0. Dallas has missed in 5 of the last 6 deliveries, and with that, the Astros get their bullpen going. Francis Marquez starts to loosen up. Dallas still with a good pitch count at 87, but in a little trouble here in the 7th. He's got Handiger, Cano, and Cruz, the next 3 batters, and he's 2-0 on Segura.
Just takes a ground ball. I know Gene Segura can run a little bit, but Dallas Keuchel does such a good job of getting ground balls that these situations don't cause him to panic. Causes that defense behind him to perk up a little bit and get ready to turn that double play.
Catches the corner. 2-1.
Thank you very much.
That was a big call in Dallas's favor. All three pitches have been near that lower quadrant on the outside corner. He got the call on the third one. Towards the middle, Altuve, Correa, they get the double play. Dallas Keuchel in and out of trouble with the ground ball double play to end the inning. Astros lead 6-2 heading to the 8th.
Nothing like getting out of a jam with a couple of runners on with a simple ground ball that turns into 2 outs.
Mariners 6-2. Marwin Gonzalez, who led off the 7th inning, will also lead off the 8th. It'll be Marwin, Brian McCann, Cameron Maben. Marwin got things going, hitting right-handed last inning with a single to center, and he would score a run. Now back to hitting left-handed against the hard-throwing Dan Altavilla. Takes a pitch for a ball, 1-0. Altavilla got the final out of the 7th inning, but at that point the damage had been done. A 2 RBI double by Alex Bregman and a 2 RBI single by Josh Reddick. Reddick came with 2 outs and gave the Astros a 4-run lead. Marwin 1 for 3 today, 5 for his last 12. Thought about a bunt, instead takes it for a strike. It's 1-2. Astros opening up this 3-game series against the Mariners. Late afternoon start here today, 3:40 local time, then back to normal start times for the final 2 games. So we will have some Astros After Dark for you. 9:10 Central starts Tuesday and Wednesday with an 8:30 pregame show both nights. Here's a ball smoked past Gene Segura into left field. Marwin hit it hard, so hard Segura couldn't make the play on the short hop. And Marwin with back-to-back hits. He's 2 for 4. Upcoming schedule includes 3 against the Mariners, off day on Thursday, then 4 against the A's. Saturday is a doubleheader in Oakland after an April rainout.
There's my doubleheader sign.
And then 3,
in case you're wondering,
3 in Anaheim. So 2 off days in the mix. And then the Seattle Mariners come back to Minute Maid Park for the weekend series before the White Sox are in town.
I was going to circle the clinch date.
You already have it in your mind?
Oh, I've got hopes.
Now I want to see that. I want to see that again. I want to see that schedule again because I want to know.
Can I circle it on this trip? Are they going to be that hot that they're just going to power through it and ambush everybody on the planet by clinching early?
Here's what I told Julie before the game. I think if they go 8-2 on this road trip.
Yes, break it down for me, please.
I think if they go 8-2 on this road trip, it's going to be very close to clinching by the time this road trip is over. Now, 8-2 is quite an accomplishment. If you're able to go 8-2, that means you've won 2 out of 3 against Seattle at the least and 2 out of 3 against the Angels at the least at some point.
Can that be my magic date? You think it? What are you thinking?
I haven't thought. This is the first time I'm hearing you make a prediction, so I haven't thought it through. I was just saying
I think it's going to be a good Sunday night into the off day.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be so great. Yeah, I mean, it could happen here. Now, there obviously you could end up with a sweep, and then lose 2 out of 3 to one of those 2 teams. If you lose 2 out of 3 to the Angels and the Mariners, probably not going to happen on this trip.
Yeah.
Because those are 2 of the teams with an elimination number above 10, lower than 15. The Angels right now with an elimination number of 13, and the Mariners and the Rangers 12. The A's could get eliminated today, mathematically, if the Astros hold on to win this game, since they lost their game earlier today to the Angels, 11-9. 2-1 the count to Brian McCann. I was looking at the schedule, and Marwin moved to second base, so he's in scoring position.
So that happened. Wild pitch.
Thank you.
Yep.
Here's Brian McCann with a 3-1 count.
I think I was supposed to push my cough button on that one, but I just announced that it was a wild pitch. Sorry about that.
Well, so when I say elimination numbers, and it's the same as magic numbers, except for when you have a magic number, it can fluctuate between different teams. So that's why I'm talking about elimination numbers. Basically, it goes down 1 with every Astros win or that opponent's loss. So today, with the Angels winning, their elimination number for the division stays at 13. If the Astros win tonight, that Angels number goes down to 12. The Mariners came in with an elimination number for the division of 12. The Astros win this game against the Mariners, it goes down by 2, since you have a win and a loss combined, and their number would be 10. The A's number is at 1 right now. If the Astros win, they will be officially eliminated from winning the division. Obviously, the wild card's still in play for all these teams. If they are able to make a run against the Twins or the Yankees or whoever else is chasing that wild card, as Cameron Maben takes a pitch in the dirt, 1-0. They change it to a pass ball, Blummer.
Okay, you want me to scream it out loud, or you want me to hit my cough button?
I was supposed to hit
back?
the cough button. I'm sorry.
Yeah, see? Rookie mistake, man.
So a pass ball allows Marwin to go to second. Here's Cameron Maben. Maben walked, sacrificed, and struck out. So officially just 0 for 1 today. Fouls one at the plate. You said you liked this lineup today.
I do. Bottom of the order has been doing it. Marwin's got 2 hits. McCann has a couple of walks, a home run. Cameron has that 1 walk and a sacrifice bunt, so they are contributing all the way through.
It's nice to see, and Cam hadn't had a sac bunt all year, and probably because he hasn't been in this situation where he's at the bottom of an order. So now, if he's a 9-hitter, you've got a guy like Springer followed by Bregman and Altuve. He may be called on occasionally. Now, this isn't a situation because you're up 4. But if this was a tie game right now, you would think about it with nobody out in first and second. So good to see Cam get that ball down on the bunt. This ball scoots past the catcher. Zunino may have caught him in the thumb. He's in some pain. The ball ended up in the Astros dugout, so a wild pitch. Zunino having a rough afternoon here. as he took that one off the glove hand thumb. Fastball followed by a wild pitch. And the Astros now with 2 in scoring position, and the infield comes in.
It's nothing more fun than looking at a Mike Scioscia box score in 11 innings using 12 pitchers.
Maben sends one high in the air, shallow center, not deep enough to score the run. In comes Herrera to put it away for the first out. They used 12 pitchers in that 11-9 win.
1, 2. Bridwell went 3 innings, and then yeah, it was a full emptying of the pen.
Springer due up. Julia.
Hey guys, we saw George and the hit that he got earlier, the single up the middle. Good to see him when he's just sending things to the middle of the field. We saw that swing get a little bit big for him here lately, but I was told, you know, here recently the difference has been the direction of where he's sending the ball. Even if they're outs, it is a good sign. And then when he's pulling those breaking balls like he did on the homer yesterday, I believe that's also a good sign. George is trending in the right direction.
Yeah, good to see those swings lately, Julia. You're right about that, as he has the infield in as Maben did with second and third. Now with 1 out, takes a pitch inside for a ball at 98. It's 1-0. On third base is Marwin. On second base, McCann. 1 out in the inning. George intentionally walked his last time. 1 for 3 in this game. 5-game hitting streak going. Takes a strike there. It's 1-1. 11 innings. 12 pitchers for the Angels. 3 of them didn't record an out.
Yeah, that's what we were looking at. I couldn't believe that. Next.
All ended up in a victory for Scioscia and the Angels. 11-9 in Oakland today. George pops one up. Zunino in fair territory puts it away. And that's out number 2. So out to Villa after second and third, nobody out. Comes back to get a shallow fly from Maben and a pop up from Springer. That'll bring up Alex Bregman. Bregman with the big hit in this game. 2 RBI double to right field. Turned a 2-2 tie into a 4-2 Astros lead. Batted with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 7th. That was followed up by a 2 RBI single by Josh Reddick. Bregman excuse me swing, and he fouls one at the plate. It's 0-1. It was the only hit of the game for Alex, but a big one. 1 for 4 with those 2 RBIs and a run scored. No bullpen action going for the Astros, so Dallas Keuchel, who was in a little bit of trouble in the 7th with Francis Martez warming up, looks like he'll come out to at least start the 8th. Bregman lost one into left field, shallow. Motter comes in, has time, gets there for the final out. So 2 men left on base. We're through 7.5. Astros lead 6-2. care-to-care raffle for the remainder of the season to the American Red Cross and their Houston relief efforts for hurricane victims. You can also go to youcaring.com/Astros Harvey to donate. Bottom half of the 8th inning, Astros with a 6-2 lead. Keuchel facing the 2-3-4 hitters Mitch Haniger, Robinson Cano, and Nelson Cruz. Last time Keuchel pitched into the 8th inning and picked up an out in that inning was back on Cinco de Mayo in Anaheim against the Angels, the 5th of May. He went 8 innings in Anaheim in a game the Astros would win 7-6. Has pitched 7 a couple of times since then, but never more than 7 since early May. Pitch misses to Haniger. It's 1-1. Martez and Liriano. Francisco and Francis warming up. Top foul. It's 1-2.
Very welcome.
Dallas sitting at 93 pitches. Facing the heart of the Mariners order. Haniger's 0 for 3 today. A couple of strikeouts against Keuchel. Dallas has 5 strikeouts. He walked 1, but that 1 was erased on a double play to get through the 7th. Good pick by McCann on the ball in the dirt. It's 2-2. Six runs, 8 hits for the Astros. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Mariners. Down low, 3-2. Keuchel, since coming off the DL, has gone 100 pitches twice, exactly 100 against both the A's and the Nationals. At Minute Maid Park has not thrown more than 100 pitches since the DL stint. Ball into left field, hit hard. Haniger's on. Reddick goes down to cut that ball off and keep Haniger at first with a single. 7th hit allowed by Keuchel, and Haniger a leadoff runner in the 8th.
Good job keeping that runner at first base. It's actually a pretty good AB by Mitch Haniger going down to get that pitch from Dallas Keuchel, letting it travel. Again, another situation where a ground ball gets you out of the situation.
Facing Robinson Cano. Keuchel's been able to get Cano to ground out to the second baseman twice. He's also struck him out. Cano in his career a .323 hitter against Houston with 13 home runs. But this season the Astros have done a better job against them, coming in at 184 on the season without a home run. AJ looking at that lineup card, trying to figure out where he matches up with the guys in the bullpen, Martez and Liriano. Pitch misses down and into Cano. It's 1-0. There's a strike. (2014 through 16) about as good as anybody against Houston.
He's been the bane of the Astros' existence for a while.
Misses in. It's 2-1.
It's good to see him trying to make the adjustment to take care of Cano.
Keuchel about to throw his 100th pitch. Got a little bit loose in that 7th inning, but was able to work through it. Now 2-2 on Cano. Count's full. Nelson Cruz on deck. Has been better as a left-hand hitter this year than a right-hand hitter. Lefty due up after him and Kyle Seager. Towards the bag at second. Correa will try and tag the runner. Out there, out at first base. What a double play turned by Carlos Correa. Didn't look like he had a shot to get two, but was able to turn two for Keuchel.
That was incredible. He basically ambushed Mitch Haniger. Knowing he couldn't go back to second base, he just grabbed that ball and ran right at him. That was a heads-up, baseball-savvy type play by Carlos Correa.
Excellent play, just knowing he had to rush the runner, that he did not have enough time to both tag the runner and make the throw unless he absolutely rushed towards Haniger running, who had to leave the base path, and Correa turns two. Keuchel with a big double play. Second straight inning he gets a double play, and here's Nelson Cruz.
So in the shift, in the way the ball was hit, Carlos Correa had to charge in. There's no way he gets back to that bag, and you can see the surprise on Haniger. He didn't know what to do. Once he's out of that line, gets the tag. He's also out because he's out of the baseline. So easy choice for Carlos Correa, but a very baseball heads-up play to make.
As soon as Haniger saw Correa coming at him, the only thing he could have done was just stop.
Yeah, force him to run a couple more steps and maybe allow more time for for Cano to get to first base.
1-1 the count to Cruz. Keuchel up to 105 pitches. Mentioned Dallas's highest pitch total since coming off the DL. He has thrown as many as 117 in the start this year. This is his second highest pitch count of the year. More than likely, with Liriano warming up and Martez warming up, the way Seager has hit Keuchel, this will probably be Dallas's last batter.
And we talked about maybe some of the opportunities for Liriano to get in there and face some left-handed hitters and try and find that release point. Might be an opportunity. Good challenge for him.
If Keuchel gets through the eighth, you may very well see Liriano start with Seager, unless they want to just go right to their closer, Ken Giles, in the next inning. But it is a 4-run lead at this point. First things first, Keuchel trying to get through the eighth. 2-2 count to Boomstick. Nelson Cruz 1 for 3 with a single. Now it's 3-2. Dallas has worked some deep counts lately. Knows he is near the end of his outing. Wants to make one more quality pitch here and go through 8. Dallas has gone 8 innings in 2 starts, a complete game at Cleveland, and also an 8-inning outing in Anaheim back on May 5th. Game in Cleveland was April 25th. 3-2 misses, and that may be the last batter Dallas faces, and it will be. Out of the dugout comes A.J. Hinch. He will go to the bullpen. A really good outing from the left-hander Dallas Keuchel. 7 2/3 innings of 2-run baseball is responsible for Nelson Cruz on first. We'll tell you about the new arm out of the bullpen when we come back. 6-2 in the bottom half of the 8th inning. A bullpen that needed 12 outs, 11 outs, and 14 outs the last 3 games. Happy to get 7 2/3 out of Dallas Keuchel. And with 2 outs in the 8th inning, they turn it over to the left-hander Francisco Liriano.
29 appearances on the season. 18 of those have been starts. All of the relief appearances have been for the Houston Astros. See the numbers on the season. At 6 ERA in 11 games with Houston. Pitched in game 2 against the New York Mets on that Saturday double dip. Went a third of an inning, gave up a hit and a walk in 12 pitches.
With Francis Martes continuing to warm up, you would think this might be the only batter that Liriano faces. They have 6 consecutive right-hand hitters due up after Seager. So Liriano in to face Seager here with 2 outs, and that is a key right there, strike 1.
Yeah, that is a great sign. It's been command issues for Liriano, just trying to find his way out there in that Astros bullpen. But you're right in the sense that they might be prepping him a little bit just to be that left-handed hitting or left-handed pitching specialist to left-handed hitters.
Pitch misses and gets through McCann. That'll allow Cruz to move to second base. Cruz, who walked final batter that Dallas Keuchel faced today, gets into scoring position. Wild pitch charge to Liriano. Liriano facing Kyle Seager. Seager, the only guy really to do any damage against Keuchel. RBI single to right and a home run to center. And it's 2-1.
The velocity is good from Liriano. He is a veteran. I'm not sure if he's trying to be too fine or if there's just something in that delivery that he's unable to repeat as far as getting the pitches on the edges.
3-1. Martes has been warming longer than Liriano, so he's ready to go if Liriano is not able to retire Seager to end the 8th. Full count. Seager with a home run his last time up, hitting his 20th of the season to go along with 30 doubles. Driving in RBIs 70 and 71 on the season in this game. Keuchel had allowed a batting average against lefties coming into today, 148, but Seager doing some damage against Dallas. Seager stays alive at 3-2. Cruz on second base with 2 outs. Liriano trying to get through the 8th. On the ground to first. And that'll do it in the 8th inning. Nice job by Liriano getting the lefty and keeping the inherited runner on base at 6-2.
results of tonight's Chevy Stroh poll. Lots of you voting tonight at ATT Sportsnet SW on Twitter is where you can find it. With Carlos Correa back, where does Alex Bregman fit best in this batting order? 51% thinks right where he is. 1 through 3, 34%, 4 through 6. We had lots of tweets too. Let's check some of these out. He likes him in the 5th spot, Buddy Sanford. Like Reddick in a 2-hole and Bregman bottom of the order. Just killing before everyone got hurt. Unfriend me now if you said 7 through 9. Oh wait, never mind. Kind of spoiled. This is the favorite of the year.
Wow.
Loving the tweet. Thanks for tweeting us.
There are a lot of managers around baseball envious of A.J. Hinch for the names he can put in the lineup.
Absolutely.
When you even have to consider whether or not Bregman deserves to be somewhere near the top of the lineup, because there was a stretch there where he wasn't. A.J. had him in the bottom 3rd for a while, but he has forced his hand with 2 months worth of baseball where he has been electric. Here's Jose Altuve facing the new pitcher Ryan Garten, and Altuve fouls one back. Altuve looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 3. He was intentionally walked his last time up. Garten had pitched with the Tampa Bay Rays before the acquisition in August. Pitch misses for a ball. It's 1-1.
Numbers on Ryan Garten, limited time out there, 8 games.
Altuve bids for his first hit, but Robinson Cano is there to make the play for out number 1.
Fastball around 93, also has a changeup, curveball, slider.
Garten becomes the 4th reliever used by Scott Service. He used 3 in the 7th inning, and then Dan Altavilla pitched through the 8th. Pitch down to Correa. It's 1-0. Ken Giles in a 4-run game, loosening up in the bullpen. Correa into center field. Heredia late break, but he'll get there. Carlos in his 2nd game back after a 1 for 3 yesterday. Carlos with an 0 for 5 today. He's the 2nd out of the 9th. Took George Springer about 40 or 50 at bats coming off the DL, and he wasn't on the DL as long as Carlos. Carlos, of course, had a little stint in the minor leagues to rehab, but it may take a little while before we see that pre-injury Correa at the plate.
Yeah, I'm not going to panic too much with him. I just want him to get right, use this time here in the regular season to get things straightened out. He'll be fine.
George and Lance McCullers having a little conversation. Be good to see Lance back on the mound. Haven't seen that in a while. As Reddick slices one foul, it's 0-2. This is kind of, it was almost like August. We mentioned at the beginning of the year how, to me, baseball is the best reality show on TV because it's a season long. It's 162 episodes. There's all kinds of personalities involved. August, the shows weren't very good.
No, they were terrible.
But the previews of what's to come in September could be the best by far.
Absolutely.
We've got those 2 guys, Verlander and McCullers, the next 2 games. You've got Springer starting to hit. You've got Correa back and healthy. You've got another addition in Cameron Maybin, which makes this team that much better. As Reddick sends one into center. So stay tuned. This could get a lot of fun down the stretch as Heredia puts it away, and Ryan Garten has a good 1-2-3 ninth. 6-2 game heading to the bottom half of inning 9. Keuchel today.
It was. The Astros needed it. Going deep in that ball game, you see 7 2/3. He is the first pitcher since June 10th for the Astros to pitch into that 8th inning. The last guy to do it was Mike Fiers. And it's only happened 5 times all year long. Dallas has 4 of them.
Dallas able to go 7 2/3, struck out 5 through 108 pitches, second highest total of the year. Allowed the 2 runs, both RBIs by Kyle Seager. And he leaves the game. Francisco Liriano got the final out of the 8th, and now in the 9th inning, even though it's not a save situation, we see Ken Giles.
Yeah, Ken Giles has been pitching very well of late, especially with some of these multi-inning outings for saves. Last time out there in game 2 against the Mets, he went 1 inning, had a punch out, got save number 28, throwing 15 pitches. But I wonder if it's a workload thing for Ken Giles, because he has looked very good with some of these extensive outings and pitching a couple of days a week.
Yeah, didn't pitch in that Mets series. Or at least the last 2 games. Didn't pitch in the last 2 games. My mistake. He did pitch in that second game as Gamble is the pinch hitter here against Giles. Went 1-2-3 against Cecchini, Reynolds, and Aoki in that second game of the doubleheader. But had used a 2-inning save against Texas on his ledger, and so they didn't go to him in a save opportunity later in that series and let Chris Davinsky pitch a 2-inning save in yesterday's game. So Giles had the day off yesterday, and now in a non-save situation in a 6-2 game.
Hundo
matched Altavilla.
Take that. He's got the Players Weekend jersey to back it up too.
Gamble pinch hitting for the first baseman Valencia, and then Mike Zunino and Guillermo Heredia. Nasty slider. Ken Giles with a strikeout of Gamble, the pinch hitter, and there's 1 out in the 9th inning. Houston Astros baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Not far from the sound as you look off in the distance, Quest Field, the Seahawks home stadium, and right behind that is Safeco Field. That's where we are in the bottom half of the 9th inning with 1 out. Mike Zunino is 1 for 3. Fouls 1 away.
Hundo.
And it's 0-1. It is no longer Quest Field, it is Century Link Field, home of the Seattle Seahawks.
Home of the 12s.
Yep. You get some loud, raucous crowds in that building. Yesterday was the last Sunday for a while without NFL football.
Hundo.
He's just dialing it in. He didn't hit 100 when he wore that jersey on Players Weekend, but maybe he was pitching without a gun like this one.
Just getting loose.
He's just peppering 100-mile-an-hour pitches. .99.
Change up. Pull the string at 99.
Zunino, who's been better as the season has gone along, down in the count 1-2. Keuchel to Liriano, and now Ken Giles. Oh, he's nasty with that slider. Gets ahead and puts him away with the slider. Second straight batter. And Giles 1 out away from wrapping this game up.
If we continue to see Ken Giles pitch this effectively with his fastball slider mix and maintain this confidence going through the end of the season, that would be a nice addition to the back end of that bullpen for A.J. Hinch. Just one less thing he has to put on that list of what to work out.
Guillermo Heredia, 2 outs, nobody on in the 9th. Takes a pitch for a ball, 1-0. Heredia singled in his last at bat. Mariners with 7 hits against Dallas Keuchel, 6 singles in the home run by Kyle Seager. Foul ball.
Coming in hot.
Right at us. I couldn't get out of the way.
Oh, man, I had my head down, and I was like, that might be coming our way.
That was trailing me. A little curve.
Yeah. A little tail end hit right just below us. I'm sure they'll find a camera that caught that coming right at us. With any luck, they won't.
I went down. 1-1 the count.
I'm going to need some more deodorant.
That's close to a strike. It's upstairs. It's 2-1.
Slider catching the top part of the zone, but I think Jim Reynolds wanted to see a little more of that baseball coming back down. Giles does have a better one.
Fouled at the plate. It's 2-2. Giles and the Astros 1 pitch away from starting this 10-game road trip with a victory.
I keep replaying that foul ball in my head. It was coming in hot. It takes the velocity and the right foul tip to get this far back to us here at Safeco. But as my head is calculating, I see you bail, and I panicked. Woo.
Swing.